So let's get curious. You'll learn more being fascinated by life than you will by being frustrated by it. So, as Einstein said, I have no special talents. I'm only passionately curious. So let's dive into what curiosity is and how it affects us. This is a place where those who suspect they're innately wise, brilliant and powerful come to learn how to transform their lives, one cognition, one realization and one blinding flash of the obvious at a time. We are the innovators, the record breakers, the world makers and creators of all kinds. We supersede the suppressive worldview of mass ignorance and awaken the strength within. We are waking up to our innate secrets. My name is Dr. Mark Postles and welcome to the Innate Secrets podcast. So the saying that curiosity killed the cat is such a deviation from the truth. It should really read something like curiosity inspired the cat, or maybe curiosity killed the cat's normality. But it certainly allows us to become alive. Curiosity is the energy of growth and of inquiry and of development. It's one of those permanent and certain characteristics of a really active and vigorous mind. So, what does it do then? Why are you curious? Why not just go with the known? And what I would suggest is that it does strengthen our relationships. Every relationship that we have is enhanced by curiosity. It'll make your social life a lot richer. It helps grow your brain. It creates new pathways. It creates plasticization of your brain so that you develop a greater richness to your life. It helps you overcome anxiety. It correlates directly with happiness. It correlates with wealth. And in fact, I think it correlates with health. Not only mental health, but physical health as well. So in all, probably curiosity correlates with life satisfaction, and it can help you learn just about anything. Now, there's a word called neoteny, which is not often used, but it refers to the biological phenomena. I'm reading a definition of it here. So it refers to the biological phenomena where development is delayed such that juvenile characteristics are retained into maturity. Now, this could be loosely used then in the context of curiosity. It's not that the development is delayed. I would say that by seeing the world from a childlike state in right through into maturity is what causes development enhancement. So by seeing the world as Betty Smith, the novelist, wrote, look at everything as though you were seeing it either for the first time or the last time, and then your time on earth will be filled with glory. And that's so true that if we see things in the moment, and this could be the very first time we're seeing it, or it could be the very last. So we could have seen the same thing over and over again. And I was just thinking of this the other day as I was riding my bike down the road, and it wasn't really that far, but I really paid attention to the things that I don't normally watch or look at or take in when I'm either walking or in the car or on my bike. And things like smells and sounds and the foliage and the textures and the light infusions that come through the trees, just things that in the everyday bustle we block out because they're not important to our immediate survival. And yet that's what allows us to go into a sort of robotic pattern in our life by, this is the same as it was last time or yesterday, or this person's the same as they were yesterday. Therefore, there's no sense in taking into account any of the nuances. And so, anyone wanting to connect with others, it behooves us to be very aware of the nuances, the differences, the shifts in all senses when we're relating to other people or other things or topics or subjects or jobs and so forth. So the once again, to go back to Einstein, such an amazing man. I don't know, just these, I just can't resist using his quotes, because it's like he says that the most beautiful thing we can experience is mysterious. And a lot of his work, even though it was done in science, was in the, which is a quadrant 2 phenomena, was done in quadrant 1, which is the metaphysics, which is the discovery, the imagination, the curiosity, which drives quadrant 1, to imagine how it would be in a certain circumstance. So, when we're in the curious state, we have to be present. And when we sharpen our interest, we see things in life and in people that we didn't see there before. So it's like seeing things through new eyes. So when you get curious about buying a certain car, you're going to see that everywhere. Probably the same color and the same model that previously you'd never noticed. But when you start to be curious about something, then you start to see it everywhere. So I'll do another Einstein. where the world ceases to be a scene of our personal hopes and wishes, where we face it as free beings, admiring, asking, and observing, there we enter the realm of art and science, and I would say philosophy and politics. So we enter this realm where we can truly ask, why is this so? And what is this? And what is this really? What is this beyond all understanding? And how does this work? And what else can we do with this? How can we make it something different or something better, or discover more about it? Now, one of the things that is required here when we do curiosity is that self-interest is diminished. So we move away from interest in ourself and our needs and our having to have, and we then move up into the quadrant 1 and 2 part, 1 and 4 part, where we are looking at being complete, being whole, having everything that we need and way beyond. So we move into a love 2 state, and that's where curiosity can really come out and play, because we're not there to sustain our survival. We're there to enhance our life, enhance the life of humanity. So even in limited senses, like someone like Helen Keller, she was reported to say that security is mostly a superstition. It doesn't exist in nature, nor do the children of men as a whole experience it. Avoiding danger is no safer in the long run than outright exposure. So life is a daring adventure, or is nothing at all. And this is where we so often create the drudgery of life by missing out on the adventure, by tending to security, by thinking that if we get a whole bunch of money, then we're going to be somehow happier, or somehow it's going to ensure a long and happy life. And it's like, wow, that is so not the thing. I think adventure is an attitude, and if we apply it to the day-to-day activities and obstacles and challenges in life, it allows us to seize the challenges and take on the opportunities and test our resources and confront and work with the unknown. And that's what uncovers us. That's what reveals our potential, our optimal self. So, often we find that we are there to we spend a lot of time looking after others and protecting them from their experience, and we're so drawn to this with our children, and particularly young children. We don't want them to get hurt. We don't want them to be sore or painful. We don't want them to have illnesses and diseases. And this is a real trap, because if we continue with that and we become like a helicopter parent, we're then stopping our children from experiencing life. And I think life or family should be like an adventure, and it's not like a a graded discipline that you get performance points for. It's about allowing things to flow and being flexible and working with that, because that's the nature of children. You watch them as they're developing, as they're growing. They like to experience things and find out how they work. So, there's a given in life that we do over time degenerate, and we do over time disintegrate. I mean, all physical stuff does. And my observation on this is that when we have that curiosity, we tend to extend that date of disintegration or breaking up, which I think is often accepted at a certain age. This is just the way it is, and that's the way you got to be. But some of the most interesting, fascinating people that I've known in my lifetime have been elderly people, who have a viewpoint on life which is massive. Curiosity abounds, and they have interest in things. Not only just the big things, but in small things as well. So I think many people age before their time, and this curiosity thing, which is a desire to know or learn, is what drives us and keeps us young and keeps us active. So that's about creating this plasticity, as I mentioned before, and we want to discover more. It's a human trait to want to discover more, to learn more, to have more, to grow and replenish ourselves and keep reinventing ourselves. And curiosity is the tool that we use for that. It's really interesting. As soon as we think that we've got somewhere, we have that, or we've achieved the desired information or result, then that's the day that we stop growing, and that's the day that curiosity starts to reduce. So the being okay with not knowing and not acting like you have all the answers allows one to evade that trap. As soon as we get into certainty and that, yep, I know that, yep, that's the trap where curiosity starts to die. And so, to help you stay curious, so there's maybe a few things that you might like to try on, and I think probably the overriding phenomenon of that, and I've just spent a weekend on one of the boards that I serve on with a number of people who are very curious, very, very curious, and I think that's what makes them leaders in their various professions. And one particular person is the penultimate reporter. Reporters never stop asking questions, and every question is a why or a what or a how or what if this, and they know that they don't have the answers, and that the answers are out there in the world, and their job's to find them. And this particular person goes over and beyond the realms that are generally accepted to be normal in this context, and has always made sure. I just observed her last night as she arrived at the dinner. She circulated amongst every one of the board members and found out what they'd been doing over the last 2 months since the last meeting, and in great detail. And it only, in my observation, maybe half of the other people asked her what she'd been up to. So she wasn't there to share what she'd been up to, and she'd been up to some incredible stuff actually in that period of time. But it wasn't about her. So it's going beyond the answer. It's always looking beyond that, being present, and that makes you smarter. So I don't know is a fine answer, as long as you follow it up with questions. And it's an information-packed world that we live in, and we've got this huge opportunity now to get information and to get understanding, and we can, it's only as far away as our computer, and we can then start to exercise this energy, and the more we exercise it, the better we get at it, and the more we'll get out of it. So what you might like to do is think of 3 to 5 things you want to learn, and put that list aside. And the next time you get bored, just pull it out and pick a topic. It does take effort, and it's easy to ignore the questions, but don't do that. Don't lose your curiosity. In every conversation, think of questions to ask, not things to say. So, as the saying goes, there's a reason why you have two ears and one mouth. It's by listening when you speak, and curiosity then is activated. So, often I've certainly found that I lapse into thinking what I'm going to say next in a conversation. And when a person says something, the correction for me is to say, "Wow, I don't understand. Please explain that, in more detail." And so they go back into a greater depth of that particular topic they're addressing, and I can just ask them to tell me more. And when you put your whole heart and mind into them and the conversation, they start to shine. And I think it was Dale Carnegie who said that, look, you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. So having curiosity builds strong relationships, and it wins admiration from others, and yet they may know very little about you because they haven't taken the time to find out about you, but you've taken the time to find out about them. So it can be uncomfortable, and let it be. Some of the most memorable experiences of my life have been adventures. Well, I've been in the discomfort zone, but it's a state of learning and acquisition of what it's like to be on the fringe, or what it's like to be outside the box. So exploring these new parameters and knowing that curiosity is a function of overcoming the fear that holds us back, the fear of being wrong, the fear of being right, maybe the fear of being different. And if you're not willing to think about the weird and the obscure and the difficult and the challenging, and maybe risk having bad ideas or non-useful ideas, then you'll never have the opportunity to execute the brilliant ones. So, in this process of life, this process of learning, this process of living and experiencing and processing this amazing world that we're in, using your brain to its optimum extremes, and getting into your quadrant one so you can create the possibilities. You'll invoke this weird thing called curiosity, and it is addictive. It's something that once you start doing curiosity, it leads you to more questions. It leads you to more curiosity. It leads you to asking bigger things of the world. So I would urge you never to stop that, to allow, not to allow certainty and the tradition and the culture and the staidness of how life has been in the past to rule you. Allow yourself to escape from that in significant amounts of time and space, so that you can then create the future that is going to open up so many gateways of possibility for not only for you but for those that you're in touch with. So curiosity is a hugely powerful way of getting there. So have fun with it and experience your brilliance in this context. Talk soon. I'm Mark. Cheers.